Hi friends, my name is James Hardy with One Love Yoga. I'm coming at you today from Salt Lake City, Utah. I hope you're having a gorgeous day. I'm going to be teaching a 60-minute power yoga class. Props you'll need, I've got a yoga block handy, so if you've got one, awesome. And if not, no worries, you'll be just fine. We're going to start up in standing at the top of our mats. So once you're feeling that you're up at the top of your mat, take a moment and on an inhale, just bring your shoulder heads high up towards your ears. And as you exhale, just release your shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Relax your arms and close your eyes. We want to feel that length coming all the way up the spine, through the back of the neck. Chin can come slightly down and back. Make sure the knees aren't locked. There's a little bit of softness in them. And just starting to notice what's going on this morning with the breath. Notice what's going on with the body. Noticing the activity of the mind. And then we'll start to link into a mindfulness practice by controlling the breath. And we'll begin with Dirga Swasana Pranayama, the 3-part breath. So just release your air all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Fill all the way up into the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, relax around it. And then exhale slowly for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do this one more time. Breathe in low belly, low back. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Breathe all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold the full breath, relax. If you want, sip in a little more air. Then that slow exhale to release all the way down to empty. At the end of the breath, you can let your navel tone gently back to your spine. From here, we'll fire up our Ujjayi breathing, Ujjayi Pranayama, the breath of victory. You'll begin to take inhales through your nose, slow and deep. These are like you were sipping the air in through a straw or a slow motion gasp for air. And then from the top of the breath on your exhales, just release back out through the nose as if you're fogging up a mirror, slowly bringing it all the way down to empty. And as you use the muscles in the back of your throat to take that slow motion gasp for air or to fog up a mirror, you'll start to hear the sound of Ujjayi breathing, the sound of ocean waves or the sound of hollow wind. And it's a breath where we narrow how the air pulls in, we narrow how the air releases out, so we really get to concentrate it. We get to craft our inhales and craft our exhales. And we're taking so much time just around the breath, because as your mind focuses in on breathing, that's where we're able to get the mind into this meditative space where it's coming more into the present moment, more into the present experience. As always, friends, just take what works for me, leave the rest behind, and allow your breath to be your guide for your practice. Awesome. Blink your eyes open to a soft gaze up front. On an inhale, just stretch and reach your arms up nice and tall in space. Breathe into mountain. Maybe arc slightly back. And on the exhale, just bring the hands back down into your heart center. Beautiful. Inhale, stretch and reach up nice and tall. At the top, interlace pointer fingers into a steeple grip. And on the exhale, we'll arch to the right as the hips shift to the left. And a little bit of bend into your knees as you press to the ground. Extend out through your arms. And rather than your shoulders crowding up towards your ears, just release the shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Biceps pull back to frame ears and might tone slightly in towards center line. And we're stretching through that outer left side body. And then using the strength of that inner right side body. On an inhale, reach back up nice and tall, maybe slightly arc back. And as you exhale, switch your sides out. So now we're going to arc over to the left. Let the hips shift over to the right. And again, rather than knees locked, just a little bit of softness to press away from the ground. Hips are off of that center line. Shoulder heads release down away from the ears, reaching out through the fingertips. Biceps pull back to frame ears and slightly toned in towards center line. Staying with those inhales, staying with those exhales. Awesome. On your inhale, reach back up nice and tall, release the grip, and on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and swan dive all the way down into forward fold. Release the head at the bottom, and then inhale halfway up. We'll be here for a couple rounds of breath, So have a little bit of a bend into your knees, press into your shins or press into your thighs. We're bringing the spine out parallel to the ground and then keeping that length through the back of the neck. Your core will help to strengthen through your lower back. With your upper back, engage your shoulder blades slightly towards one another. Shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Take that inhale to strengthen and lengthen through the spine. And on your exhale, refold. And let your fingertips come all the way down. And just give your head a slow nod, yes. And a slow side to side nod, no. With the weight in your head and your arms, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll up to standing. Head will be the very last thing to stack up. When it does, inhaling to reach the arms wide and tall, maybe arcing back. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. We'll inhale into Utkatasana chair pose. So sit bones reach back in space. You can start with your arms up in space, biceps pulled back to frame ears. You could widen all the way out to goalposts if you want. And just for a side profile of that, again, sit bones drawing back, weight is in your heels. And we've got the muscles of the legs engaged. So you're feeling those thighs wrapping around your knee joints, feeling the glutes pulling back up away from the knees on the back, feeling the core engaged and the shoulder blades engaged, nice and strong around your knees. Okay, bring your hands into your chest, draw an inhale, and on your exhale, we'll do a twist over to the right, bringing your left elbow tricep to the top outside of your right thigh. Press your palms together, and then bring the thumbs in towards your sternum. If your left knee is swiveling forward beyond the right, line your knees up so your hips are lined up behind you. And just stacking through the shoulders here, staying with your breathing. Again, we want to watch we're not sinking into our knee joints. We're engaged through the legs, engaged through the glutes, nice and strong. Using those inhales, using those exhales. Right on an inhale, we'll rise up into a one-legged mountain, lifting your arms and lifting that left knee up in space to bend at 90 degrees. And we're just warming up our one-legged balance. We'll take this into tree pose, bringing the left foot to the inside of your right thigh above your knee, or to the inside of your right calf below your knee. Alternatively, you could also have the ball of the foot to the ground with the heel to the inside of your ankle. Hands could be into heart center with your thumbs towards your sternum, or you could open the arms wide or extend tall. Feel your foot and your leg pressing into one another. Focus your gaze on something that's not moving to help with the balance, and use your breathing. You can also think about that big right toe is rooted into the ground. Full length of the spine right here. Awesome. Perhaps try a different variation with your arms. Feel that left knee opening wide, hips opening up. Staying with the inhales, staying with the exhales. Perfect. On an inhale, reach your arms and your left knee back up into that one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, bring your hands back into heart center. Foot down to the ground. We'll inhale back up into our chair pose. Again, starting out with any variation with your arms that you'd like, whether they're straight up and pulling back to frame ears, or whether they're going wide. And finding the strength right away as you drop those sit bones back. Bring the hands into your chest, draw a deep breath in, and on your exhale, now we'll twist open to the left, so right elbow to the top outside of your left thigh. Crown of the head is reaching forward, gaze is out to the left, the knuckles on your thumbs are pulling in towards your sternum, and then lining up the knees in front of you so the hips are lined up back behind you. Find the inhales, find the exhales, and just stay engaged with the legs here. Find the strength of your legs. You're in a twist, and when you breathe into a twist, the inhale has to fight a little bit against it. When you exhale in a twist, your body releases a little bit deeper into what's happening. So using the breath to massage the body out. Awesome, friends. On an inhale, we're going to come up to that one-legged mountain. So rooting to your left foot, draw your arms and your right knee up this time. Right knee bent at 90, thigh parallel to the ground, full length of your body. Again, warming up our one-legged balance. Start to bring your foot to the inside of your thigh or the inside of your calf above or below your knee, or root the ball of the foot to the ground, pressing the heel to the inside of ankle. Hands can be right at heart center, wide or tall. Feel that big left toe rooted into the ground. Feel the full length of your spine up in space. Find your inhales, find your exhales. If you're swaying, you're falling out of it, you're coming back into it, that's all part of balance. I always love to say, just stay playful with your balance. Have fun with it. Awesome. Arms can come up if you want, or you can try a different variation with the arms. And then when you're ready, you're just going to inhale that right knee back up to your one-legged mountain, arms lift nice and tall. And on the exhale, root the foot to the floor, draw the hands in towards your heart center. Okay, we'll take an inhale to reach and extend the arms up nice and tall in space. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and swan dive to your forward fold. Release the head at the bottom. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, strengthen around it. And then plant your hands, come back to the top of a plank position. We'll lower down to our tabletop. And before we do some stuff inside of plank, up dog, and down dog, we're going to warm the wrists up. So at tabletop, turn the inside of your wrist to face to the front of your mat. Your thumbs are pointing to the side, and your fingers are pointing backwards. And then start to massage the pressure out, either going side to side, back and forth, or as you lean back, peeling the palms off the mat all the way to your fingertips, and then rolling the fingers and palms all the way back down into the ground. And if you're taking that, just give it a couple times, moving through the fingers, moving through the circle of the palms, staying with your breathing. Nice, friends. Let's take the back of the hands down to the ground. Your fingers could point in towards one another, or your fingers could point towards the back of the room, side to side, back and forth, or you could lean back, peel back to your knuckles or to your fingernails even, and then roll back forward. Just drop your sit bones back towards your heels. Bring your hands in towards your heart center. This is hero's pose, tops of the feet are to the ground. And then we'll just start to take the hands and give a roll out through the wrists. Move through your fingers, stretch through the forearms. Okay, now we're ready to get back into our plank position. Wrists are nice and warmed up, ready to go. So toes to the back of your mat, hips are up on level with your shoulders. It might feel nice just to do a little bit of forwards and backwards movement here, just to feel into what's holding you up in space. Biceps slightly toned in, elbows micro bent, so the muscles are engaged around the joints. And then your tailbone, it's right in between a cat and a cow. So cow is when we are bowing the spine, cat's when we're arching the back. It's right in between there, so it's nice and engaged, and you can feel your abdominal wall connected. All we need to do is take a breath in at the top, and on your next exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the belly. Once you're down to your belly, tops the feet to the mats, slide your palms a little lower down your torso, squeeze the elbows in, and we'll find a low cobra position. So just lifting up through the back of the neck, chin slightly back in towards your throats. Abdominal wall is connected, chest is off the ground, shoulder blades are toned in, shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back, staying with your breathing. Nice deep inhales, nice long exhales. Awesome. Last couple rounds of breath here, friends. You're doing great. And on an exhale, you'll release down, tuck the toes, and come to downward facing dog, either reversing your plank or going to tabletop and then back into plank. Inside of the down dog, we can slowly start to walk out through the down dog, just lowering the weight into one heel at a time while the opposite knee bends. Hips can shift a little bit side to side in space. Warming up the back of the legs, staying with your breathing. Weight of the head is released, so the gaze is back behind us. And then your hands are slightly wider than your shoulders. Biceps are toned in towards center line. We're spread out into the hands, lifting up through the hips and then drawing through the heels. Feeling that press down into the circle of the palm, down into the fingers. Weight of the head relaxed out in space. On an inhale, right leg lifts up nice and tall, three-legged downward facing dog. Press through your heel or through the ball of the foot. And lift back and up through the leg as you press back through it so it's coming right up through center. Let the front of your right hip bone point down and back in space. And on your next exhale, we'll bring the knee to your left elbow or a tricep. And we're holding in here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach back up, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep, holding in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach back up. And on the exhale, just curl your knee to your forehead, back heel lifts high. Again, holding here and breathing. 3, 2, 1. And last thing, step the foot up between your hands. We're in a low lunge position. So both hands are framing the right foot, ball the left foot to the ground back behind us. Once you've got the strength in your legs, we're going to rise up into our high crescent lunge position. We're dropping that right thigh parallel to the ground. Back left heel is off the ground, pulling forward in space. Left thigh is pulling forward. Right thigh is pulling back to meet it, stabilizing. You're strong through that, around that right knee. You can even feel the glute pulling back and up on the right leg. Then arms extended up nice and tall. And we're taking that opening through the chest. Shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. So nice and strong as we load the weight into that front right knee joint. Beautiful friends, on your next exhale, beggar's bull. Hover the back knee off the ground, extend your arms forward. This is a turbo lunge. And really reinforce that strength through the legs right here. Spine up nice and tall, and just like you've got a bowl, a heavy bowl you're holding in your hands. Staying with the inhales, staying with the exhales. Breath is another great way that we can find endurance when we're building that strength around the legs. Now our next piece is going to be a one-legged chair or praying monkey. And you can go directly into this by bringing the left knee to press to the inside of your right knee with the thighs pressing together, or you could first set it up in chair. Left foot steps up to meet your right. You want to walk your big toes together so your ankle bone, knees, and thighs are all pressing together. And then from there, you'd pick that left leg up and bring the heel in towards your sit bone. And again, you're pressing those thighs in towards center line, knees in towards center line, hands at heart center, back heel lifting up. You can flex the toes down to the ground. Find the strength as we load the weight into that right knee joint. Stay with your breathing. Nice deep inhales, nice long exhales. And from here, friends, Dakasana airplane. So you'll stand up on the right leg out of that one-legged chair, and then you're swimming the left leg back, swinging your arms back, and your chest has a little bit of a lift to it. So your gaze is coming out the top of your eyes. There's some similarities between this and that low cobra. You could lift your elbows slightly up, tone your shoulder blades in towards one another, and then feel that big right toe rooting to the ground. And again, if you're falling out of it, no worries. These are just games we get to play with the body. Use that breathing. On an inhale, rise up into your one-legged mountain. So familiar pose, we've already been here. So you're bringing the arms, you're bringing the left knee up nice and tall in space. Left knee is bent at 90. And then we're going to take another one-legged chair. This one's figure 4. So you'll cross the left ankle over the top of your right thigh, and then sit back into it. Hands can come to heart center, or one hand to knee, one hand in towards your heel. Find some flexion in your left foot, the toes back to the shin. Let your knee gently flex down. Again, find all that strength around your right leg. I know we're getting a lot of heat built up into that right leg. Hands right at heart center, staying with your breathing. Staying with your inhales, staying with your exhales. You're doing great, almost there. So on an inhale, we're back up to one-legged mountain, except this time we're going to do it with the leg extended. And rather than leaning back, more pressure down through the ball of the right foot. So it's like you're pressing out in front of you as you lift up through your left thigh. Full length of your body up nice and tall, and just staying with your breathing. You got it, almost there. So take one more inhale to lift and press. Now your exhale, swim through airplane all the way to a low lunge position. So ball the left foot down to the ground, fingers down to frame your right foot. And then from here, warrior 2, knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forwards. We want a really long stance. Get that right thigh to drop down parallel to the ground. Spine is straight up in space. And then you're pressing into the feet, pressing into the legs, toned through both of your legs, thighs drawn back to center, and then that opening through your arms and gazing out across your fingertips. Shoulder blades slightly toned behind you. Shoulder heads released down away from the ears on the back. Awesome, guys. Take one more inhale to here, and on your exhale, we're gonna bring it forward, plant the right fingertips down to the ground in front of your right foot. And amigos, if you are working with a block, we're moving into half moon Ardha Chandrasana. You could use your block on level 1, 2, or 3 out in front of the right hand here as well. I'm gonna take mine on level 2. Otherwise, fingers of that right hand. We stand up on the right leg. Left leg lifts up behind us. And then the toes start to point to the left side of the room. Your hip opens to the left side of the room. You can bring your left hand up to your hip as you stack the left shoulder over the right shoulder. Crown of the head is reaching forward. You could also reach and extend your left arm up tall in space here as well. And just opening up into this half moon Ardha Chandrasana. And again, if you're falling out of it, coming back into it, no worries. We're here to have fun with balance. It's just a game you get to play with your body. Find those last couple rounds of breath. Stay committed. And then we're going to take that release into forward fold at the top of the mat. So left foot comes down to meet the right. If you're using a block, just slide it back out of the way. On inhale, rise up halfway, reach through your spine. On the exhale, refold. And then reverse swan dive, inhaling arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, cactus your arms, baby back bend, pressing through the shoulders, pressing to the ground. Inhale to reach arms back up tall, and then hands into your heart center on your exhale. And friends, just give that right leg a little bit of a release, a little bit of a shake out. Great time if you want to hydrate, to grab a drink of water before we take that on the other side. All right. So standing at the top of your mat. On an inhale, reach and extend the arms up wide and tall in space. Tadasana Mountain. Exhale to hinge out from your hips and find that swan dive to your forward fold. Release the head completely. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine, strengthen around it. And then plant the hands, step back to your high plank position. Go to down dog or exhale halfway into chaturanga. Press to the tops of your feet and inhale upward facing dog. Shoulder heads down away from the ears in the back, biceps toned in, and you're suspending the weight of your body on the tops of the feet, on the hands. When you're ready from up dog, we'll take it back into our downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, drawing the hips back and up in space. Find the engagement inside of your down dog. Then this time, left leg pulls back up nice and tall to a three-legged down dog. Awesome. We want to think about that. We're lifting that right hip back and up as you press through your right heel, and that helps to take the left leg up a little bit taller in space. Stay with the breath. On an exhale, bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach back up, extend. On the exhale, bring your knee to your left elbow or tricep. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach back up tall. And on the exhale, curl the knee to the forehead, back right heel lifts high. 4, 3, 2, 1, and step up to your low lunge position. Once your low lunge is set, use that shape to rise up into your high crescent lunge. So again, we want that front thigh parallel to the ground. Back right heel lifting off the ground. Right thigh coming forward, left thigh pulling back to meet it. We've got the strength going down into the left leg, wrapping around the left knee, that glute pulling up and back. Then we take the arms up nice and tall here. Biceps pull back to frame the ears, shoulder heads released. Staying with your breathing. Finding those inhales, finding those exhales. Okay, take one more inhale to high crescent, and then with your exhale into our beggar's bowl, hovering the back knee off the ground, extending those arms forward in space, spine up nice and tall, and really increasing the strength in the legs as you're hovering that back knee. Use your breathing. Now for praying monkey, 2 options, right? You can either step right into it, where right knee presses inside of left knee, hands to heart, or right foot steps up to left for chair, big toes together, ankle bones, knees, and thighs, and then from there, you're gonna lift that back right heel up. Awesome, and again, ankle bone, knees, thighs, all connected right at center here. Perfect, stay with your breathing. Rather than sinking into that left knee joint, we're totally engaged all along the length of the leg, right up into your glutes, even feeling those core muscles, those back muscles up top. You can flex the right toes down to the ground as the heel lifts up towards your sit bone. Nice inhales, nice exhales. We'll swim this back into Dakasana, airplane. So standing up on the left leg, reaching the arms back in space, flying the right leg back. Chest slightly lifts up, facing forward. Shoulder blades toning in. Maybe elbows lift up a little bit in space. Stay with your breathing. Find that object in front of you that's not moving, that's going to help out with that balance. Awesome. Inhale, rise up, one-legged mountain. And then we're going to go into figure 4. So you're setting the right ankle over the top of your left thigh, back in space. Again, that front view of that, right ankle over the left thigh. Right knee opening up wide, toes flexed in towards the shin, hands to heart or one hand to knee, one hand to heel. Sit bones dropping back in space here, friends. We're still in that one-legged chair. And again, I know we're building up the heat in the right leg. Just stay engaged around it. Last round of breath. You got this. So we're rising up one-legged mountain. This time, right leg extends forward in space. And rather than leaning back, we want spine up super tall. So press down into the ball of that left foot. Lift up through the right leg. Lift up through the right thigh. Reach forward through the ball of the foot. The leg does not need to go straight. The right leg could have a little bit of a bend into it. Take one more inhale to lift up, extend, and on the exhale, you're swimming through airplane to a low lunge. So ball the right foot to the back of your mat, fingers down to frame the left foot. Drop the knife edge of your right foot to the ground, then open up to warrior two. So right arm back, left arm forward. Again, think about the length of your stance, using up the length of your mat to drop that left thigh parallel to the ground, open up through the arms. Spine comes straight up in space. Feel the knife edge of the right foot rooted down to the ground, pressing to it. And feel your right leg engaged all the way down, pressing into that right leg. Find that equal extension, that equal reach out through your arms. Gaze out over those fingertips. Using the inhales, working with those exhales. Beautiful, friends. So from here, half moon. And again, if you're using a block, we can bring it out in front of us, this time for the left hand on level 1, 2, or 3. Otherwise, your fingertips are just going down to the ground, maybe like 6 inches to a foot in front of the left toes. We stand up on the right leg. Left hand is directly underneath the left shoulder. Excuse me, stand up on the left leg, and then right leg lifts up. Toes are pointing out to the side. You can totally do the right hand to your hip. You're pressing your heel backwards in space, and then you can draw that right arm up if you'd like, opening through your wingspan here. Again, if you fall out of it, no worries. Just have fun. Stay playful. And working with your breath while you're here. Let's take one more round of breath. And then we're working to that forward fold. So bringing the right foot down, bringing the right hand down. Inhale takes us halfway up, lengthen the spine, strengthen around it. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, inhale, arms wide and tall. And then on the exhale, cactus open, baby back bend, lifting through chest, shoulders straighten. Inhale to reach back up into mountain. And again, hands into your heart center on the exhale. And we can give that left leg a little bit of a release, a little bit of a shake out. Another time if you want to grab a drink of water, keep that hydration going. All right, come up to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen and lift your arms up nice and tall in space. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and find that swan dive to your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen and strengthen through the spine. And then plant the hands, step back into your high plank. We'll exhale halfway down. You can also go right to down dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Find the pose, breathe into it. Find the engagement through the arms, through the shoulders. And when you're ready, take it back into your downward facing dog. Couple rounds of breath here. And on your next exhale, we'll release into child's pose, taking the knees out wide towards the edges of the mat. Big toes draw together, sit bones are back towards your heels, and then the weight of the forehead is down to the mat with the arms out in front of you. Friends, stay inside of that child's pose. Find that deep breathing. So again, this idea that you are crafting inhales, that you are crafting your exhales. Letting the weight of the body relax into this. And if you want, for those last couple rounds of breath, you'll walk your fingertips forward till your elbows lift off the ground, and then press the fingertips forward so you're pressing your sit bones back towards your heels. From our child's pose, lift up to tabletop, drop one of your hips down to the ground, bring your legs forward, and then you'll take the weight all the way down onto your back, and we're going to do some work for our core muscles. Once you're on your back, just draw your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your knees, and just give yourself a little release, a little rock on the back, side to side, massaging out the hips and the sacrum. And for our core work today, we're going to do some movements, and then we'll do hold, and then we'll do movements. And we're going to do this in 4 different positions. The first one is with your legs straight up. And the movement is going to be side to sides. And so I'll show you just a little bit, and then we'll get going. So you're reaching left, you're reaching right. So when you're ready, we'll start to do the movement. Stay with your breathing. Reaching through the left hand, reaching through the right hand. And then for the hold, we're just holding arms straight up. You can totally throw a hand back behind the base of the skull if you want. Feeling that flexion through the abs, staying with your breathing, using your breath. And then back into the side to side. Again, you could have a hand back behind your head if your neck needs some support. You're on your last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take Supta Baddha Konasana, so recline bound angle cobbler's pose. Bottoms of the feet together, knees are out wide. Relax your arms wherever it feels comfortable to you, or one hand onto upper belly, one hand onto lower belly, or hands to the inside of your thighs. And just find your breath here. For the second piece of that core work, friends, we'll start with the reverse tabletop. Knees bent at 90, bottoms of the feet pointing forward, hands back behind the base of the skull with the elbows wide. And what we'll do is straight leg lift. So extend your legs out. Low back is rooted to the mat versus there being an arch in it. And then we're going to go. Ready? Go for it. So legs straight up and then lower it halfway down. Working with your breathing. Okay, perfect. So we're going to hold the legs on the diagonal. Stay with the breath. Again, low back rooting down to the mat. Use the breathing. Cool, back into your movement. Nice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Take a full morning stretch. Just relax your head, relax your legs, reach your legs all the way out in front of you, reach the arms all the way back behind you. Take a roll out through your ankles, through your wrists, Get some movement into your fingers, into your toes. All right, and then we're gonna do a rock and roll up into boat. So bring the knees to your chest, grab your hamstrings, and start that rock back and forth the length of your spine. After a few of those, we wanna catch the body up in our boat pose. So that seated balanced position, heels up off of the ground. The movement are going to be these twists where it looks like you're rowing a canoe. So cross your ankles, hold the spine up nice and tall, and then you start to twist open to the left, and then twist open to the right. Going as slow or as fast as you'd like here. Perfect, we're gonna hold our Navasana boat pose. Do this with your hands connected to the back of the legs or arms open, knees bent or legs lengthened, spine up nice and tall, shoulder blades hugged in, shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back, staying with your breathing. And then back into the rows for the last little bit here. Twisting through the spine. Last 5, 3. Perfect, friends. Cross your ankles, come back forward into a tabletop, and let's find cat and cow. So working between the bow and the arch in your back. Cow, dropping the belly, lifting sternum and tailbone. Cat, arching back, dropping tailbone, mid-back high, weight of head released. You can add any back and forth movement or side to side movements, and you really get to weave your breath in here however it makes the most sense to you. Awesome, friends. So just drop one of your sit bones down to the ground and bring your legs forward in space. Leave the right leg extended, and then grab your left leg and start to cradle your left leg in towards your body. We'll plant the left foot to the outside of the right thigh with your knee up in space. Leave your right leg extended or bend the heel, bringing it to the outside of your left sit bone. And we'll create a seated twist over towards the left. So wrap your right arm around the outside of the left leg or bring your elbow to the outside of the knee. Press your hand back into the ground behind you, and on an inhale, lengthen your spine up nice and tall. And as you exhale, twist from center and take your gaze back across your shoulder. Broadening through the chest, lengthening through the spine. If you'd like, reach your right ear forward towards your right shoulder, lengthening out the left side of your neck. You could lift the chin up in space or let it come down, finding the back and front edges. If your head's to the side on an inhale, reach it up. And as you exhale, twist from center, come all the way down to empty, looking to the back, and then we'll unwind. Awesome, friends. We can uncross the left leg. And I'm going to take us into double pigeon fire log for the right hip. I'll also show you in a second how you can take this into reclined pigeon on your back. So we can start with the legs just kind of opened up wide. And then we'll bring the left shin parallel to the top of your mat. And you want to center the space between your knee and your heel, your lower leg, to the sides of your mat, the left and right side of your mat. You'll root into that leg, and then you're going to grab your right leg and start to cradle your right leg in towards your body. And we're making a notch here. We're notching up the indentation on the outside of the ankle between ankle bone and heel over the inside ridge of the knee, and it notches up perfectly just like that. From there, this is fire log or double pigeon. You'll stack your fire logs. So I'm going to slide the sit bones back a little bit, bring the shins parallel to one another. Now, you might have a gap in between your right knee and your left foot. No worries. If you've got a block or a blanket or a sweatshirt or a shirt or anything, you can slide it underneath there and give a little bit of ability for your right knee to press down into that prop in between your foot. We want to find flexion in both of the toes back to the shin. And you can stay upright. Maybe the hands are to the ground or hands are at heart center. Or you can start to walk your hands forward. And when I lean forward, I'm actually going to move the block out of the way so my knee can come down a little bit closer. And then I'll let the right tricep just press gently into the top of the right knee with my hands out in front and the head bowing down. So you can stay right in one of those positions. If you're doing a reclined pigeon on your back, left foot's to the ground, right ankle over the top of your left knee or thigh, hands interlaced around the left hamstring or shin, and then just drawing the knee in towards your chest, just staying on the back, staying with the breath. We're in about 3 more rounds of breath, 4 more rounds of breath, wherever you're at here, friends. And this is a really great time for you to focus on that mindfulness piece with your breathing. So the way that the breath can help us to relieve anxieties, relieve those life pressures, and just connect us into what's happening right here, right now, in this moment. So on your back from reclined pigeon, I want you to come back up to your sit bones. If you're bent over in double pigeon, if you're folded over, bring your spine upright. And then take your legs out in front of you and just give a little roll out through your ankles. We'll leave the left leg extended this time. Grab your right leg and cradle across your chest. We're going to set up that seated twist. So right foot plants to the outside of your left thigh. Left leg extended, or bend the knees so the heel's to the outside of your right sit bone. Your twist is off to the right, so you can wrap your left arm outside of the right leg or bring your elbow to the outside of the knee. Press your right hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine up. And on the exhale, twist from center and take your gaze back across your shoulder. Broaden through the chest. Relax down through those shoulder heads. Let's start to reach the left ear forward to the left shoulder, tilting your head, lengthening the right side of your neck, and you can lift your chin up in space or let it come forward and down, finding the front and back edge of the right side of your neck. Use that breath to help process any tension you're finding or encountering. And then from your head tilted to the side, inhale to bring your head upright, gazes to the right. And on your exhale, twist from center and take the gaze back across the shoulder, getting all the way down to empty. We'll unwind from here, taking the legs out wide, and we'll do the other side of double pigeon fire log, or you can move onto your back and you can find yourself in that reclined pigeon. So for our double pigeon fire log, this time I'm gonna cross the right shin to the top of the mat, and then grab that left leg and start to cradle the left leg in towards the body. Notch up the indentation between ankle bone and heel over the inside ridge of the knee or thigh. Line up the shins parallel with one another. And again, you could grab a block, blanket, sweatshirt, anything underneath the knee, between the knee and the foot. Stay upright. Flexion of your toes in towards your shins, or you're walking forward. Hands down to the ground. And that left tricep can give a little bit of a press down to the inside, or the top rather, of that left knee. And if you're on your back in reclined pigeon, friends, we just got the left ankle over the top of the right thigh. We're laying down, interlacing hands around the shin or the hamstring of the right leg, and bringing the knee into the chest, giving a little rock side to side on the back. Okay, we're here like 3-ish more rounds of breath. So if you're on your back, we're just gonna meet you there. From double pigeon, start to bring yourself upright if you were folded, unwind, and then take your weight down to your back. Everybody just draw your knees into your chest, relax your head, and take a moment just to give a little massage out through the back here. Excellent. We'll take a final back bend together at the end of practice bridge pose, so feet down to the floor, right at hip bone distance. And then we want to step the heels back in underneath the knees. You can always test that by reaching the arms down your sides. Fingers should be able to pretty much touch your heels. Press the elbows into the ground at your sides. Draw the hips up. Shoulder blades can come in a little closer, making a shelf for the heart. Spread through the toes, and then grip down through all 10 toes so you're spread out into the feet. You can just keep pressing through the elbows, or if there's another variation you want to take with your arms here, feel free to do so. Find your breath. And then on your next exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, just release the hips to the ground. Happy baby, peace sign fingers to your big toes or hands to the outside edges of the feet. Knees out wide. They're bent so the bottoms of the feet are pointing to the sky, ankles stacked above the knees. Weight of the head release, hips as close to the ground as they get, and just giving yourself a little rock side to side while you're here. And then for our reclined spinal twist, release happy baby. Stack your knees over to the left, and then reach your right arm to the right, and you're going to twist your gaze out across your right shoulder away from your left knees. Hands can gently pull down on the top outside of that right leg. Awesome breathing. Let's just switch our sides up so you can bring the knees back up to center. This time, stack the knees off to the right side. Reach and extend your left arm out to the left. Right hand just pulling down on the top outside of that left knee or thigh. Gaze out to the side and staying with your breathing. Left shoulder can pull to the ground or just think about relaxing it towards the ground. Nice, and then out of our twist, friends, just bring your knees back up. Take your arms around your knees and give yourself a little bit of a rock. Massaging out the hips, the low back, the sacrum. We're ready for our final resting pose, our corpse posture, our Savasana. So as you're ready, I want you to make yourself super comfortable, just lying flat down to the ground. Releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Relaxing the weight of the head. You can close your eyes, and then Shavasana is a time you can let go of controlling your breath and just let the body take back over on the breathing. Song I wrote, you might want to sing it note for note. Well, don't worry, or be happy. In every life we have some troubles, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, or be happy. To lay your head, somebody came and took your bed, but don't worry, be happy. The landlord said your rent is late, he may have to litigate, but don't worry, be happy. Cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile, but don't worry, be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, be happy. So nice and slow, just bring some life back into your body. Start to move your fingers, start to wiggle through your toes. Maybe take a full morning stretch, reaching your arms all the way back overhead behind you. And from your back, take the weight of your body onto your side into a fetal position, just curling up and letting the weight of the body relax. From that fetal position, bring yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged position or whatever pose you want to end class with. You can pull the flesh away from the sit bones. You can sit up nice and tall through the spine. Maybe even roll the shoulder heads out, releasing them down away from the ears on the back. Close through your eyes, and we'll take one more round of breath to inhale the arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, just bring your hands into your heart center, thumbs towards your sternum, release the weight of the head. It's been my pleasure to lead you through your practice today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Much love. Namaste.